As you know, this is a crowbar. Some people will linguistically try to use a crowbar whenever they want to get their own doctrine into the scriptures without any regard of the context. That's what's happening in Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 5 when we have people saying, oh, soul sleep is justified because after all, the dead know nothing. This is the third part of our talk about this. I want you to go back and look at the first two parts. But this will end this argument all over. Okay, why? Because when you take a look in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, staying in the same book, it says, let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. So let's go back to this chapter and let's take this in a conclusive look at the context. If you are going to say that Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 5, the dead know nothing, apply to the Christian, you have to take the rest of the context, the rest of the narrative, and say it also applies, right? Oops, you're going to have a problem, because it also says in the same verse, neither will they ever receive a reward, in direct contradiction with 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 10, which clearly states that the believer goes to the reward seat to be given rewards based upon your service here on earth. It will also tell you in that same verse, the memory of you is forgotten. If you say the dead know nothing, stay with it. You have to take the whole context together. The memory of you forgotten, that's in direct contradiction with places like Isaiah 56, which says that the believer's name will never be cut off, will never go away. Now go to the next verse, and it says in verse 6, their love will perish. If you're going to apply this to Christians, you are then also saying their love is gone. That's in direct contradiction with 1 Corinthians chapter 13, which says love never fails. For the believer, it will endure. It's eternal. And then finally, in the very next verse, in verse 6, if you're applying it, you have to put this all together. You are then claiming that the Christian, according to verse 6, will never have a portion of anything they've ever done on this life under the sun. Direct contradiction with the many rewards being given for service here on earth. Matthew 10:42 says, even if you give a cup of cold water in the name of Christ, you will not lose your reward. Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 10, God, he says, I'm not an unrighteous judge. I'm watching you. You will be rewarded, Luke 14, in the resurrection of the righteous. Take a look at the scripture. If you're going to apply the first part, you have to apply it all, and you see that whole argument about soul sleep falls apart.